Welcome to the Crazy Cool Family Podcast with Don and Suzanne Manning. Parents, what if we could give you the power to transform your family into something absolutely amazing?
A family where everyone is healthy, gets along, loves Jesus, and has great purpose in life.
Hey, let us flip your thinking to unlock the power God has given you to create your own Crazy Cool family. Hey parents, we are in the middle of a 3-part series about our family, who we are, and how we came to be. Last week we introduced our 7 amazing kiddos and we shared a little bit about life with a big family. So today we are starting with the second part and we are jumping into all about family life, about our activities, about our schedule, about how doing things together knit us together. So we hear from each of the kids and their perspective on being part of a big family and how it affected them in their lives. So let's jump in and hear more from the Manning kids. What activities did you do growing up? I mean, Macy talked about playing at home, but outside, and what activities were interesting to you? And how did we do that as a family? Just to give these parents some idea. We were a busy family. 7 kids and a lot of different things going on, but speak into the activities and what were your interests growing up?
Yeah, and just along with that, and how did that knit you guys together? How were you involved with each other's lives while still having your own life?
Goes back to my original introduction, basketball. I love basketball. I love to play basketball. But seriously,
it's pretty good as well.
Dad, I was actually talking to Maddox about this a couple of days ago. Maddox and I were working out in the barn together, which is like this little back place in our house. And I was telling him, I was like, why do we work out? Mom doesn't work out. That's not a common thing for us to all actually really value and like working out. And I was saying, I think it's because Dad always just did it. He wasn't even like, everyone come work out with me. But he was just so consistently doing it that we just saw, oh, that's what you do to live a healthy lifestyle. You incorporate working out subconsciously. And now, for me, 15 years later, it's just a part. I'm like, yeah, that's what you do to live a healthy lifestyle. And so I think the same was true with basketball, or there's just different activities that Dad initiated and was like, I'm gonna do this and would love for y'all to come, or I would love for y'all to play it. And then we all were like, yeah, that's fun. Our dad does that. We like our dad. He looks like he has a great healthy lifestyle. And so then we all just started loving it. And now years later, we'll play basketball games outside, or work out together, or go on runs together, or do these different things that just started as Dad being an example, but ended up integrating into us now being an example to our kids and to each other and stuff like that.
I also think this should be said. Damien and I actually talk about this a lot, is that I don't know if this is true, Dad, so maybe you didn't try to do this, but I think in our culture, especially the area that we grow up in Texas, sports are a huge deal. They're incredibly competitive, soccer, basketball, baseball especially. And Dad wanted us to be he wanted us to be a success and to represent the Manning name in everything we did. And win. Yeah, he did like us to win, but not be a quitter, be a team player. There were definitely seasons of our life where he was like, we're going to practice drills. We're going to spend our summer doing this and that. But I was actually the only person that played sports through my senior year. Cade Verdict's still out. And I played at a school where I graduated with 38 kids. So it wasn't like we were all these incredible athletes, and Dad wasn't saying to us our whole life, you need a D1 scholarship. My end result is for you to be the best player ever. And Damien says, maybe your dad's goal was just so that you guys could all learn one sport so that you could all play together. And I don't know if that was it, but and I think that's because Damien's trying to figure out, is Sebastian going to be a D1 football player, or am I just going to care that he's going to have fun and learn things? And so if that's a struggle in your family, or there's a tension amongst your kids or you or your spouse, maybe ask God to change the mentality, or to reveal how can we use sports to, be part of our family name, not who we are, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know that I can take credit. I just for wanting to have the whole family. I just like basketball.
Yeah, me too, Dad. Me too. I love it. I love basketball.
But there was intentionality there, because in the beginning, either Don played Barbies with Molly or basketball. And so he very much thought, okay, I got to get this girl outside. We got to dribble a ball. I cannot play with another Barbie.
Yeah, but and also I think that, when we tackled something, we would say, we're going to be good at this. Yeah. If we're going to do school, we're going to do our best at school. If we're going to do basketball, we're going to do our best at basketball. We're not going to be a family. One of the values of the family is that if we're going to pursue spirituality, we're going to pursue spirituality, And so I think that was part of it, just to give them something. In fact, there were many things that we didn't play anymore because we got tired of them and we weren't pursuing them at a level. And so it was like, okay, we're not going to do these things anymore. Last thing I'll say to that is, and I think this is parents, it's not about the achievements your kids do. It's about sports is such a great thing, as well as spirituality, academics, everything, because they learn how to learn and they learn how to get better at things and they learn how to pursue things. And even like with Suzanne, I was just thinking with health, that you guys so have a healthy lifestyle. It wasn't because of what I ate. It was because of what your mom did in terms of, teaching you guys, hey, we need to drink water. We need to do those things. And parents, the reason I say that is because that example Madeline was talking about, if you just keep doing it, your kids wind up seeing it and going, yeah, I think that's something I want as a part of my lifestyle too. Well, what about keep going with activities, Kenzie?
So not a specific activity, but more of a mindset in the midst of them. I was going to say this earlier when we were talking about things the world might not know about the Mannings as well, but it fits in, is that the focus was not perfection. It was growth and opportunity, and just realizing that your kid's not going to be perfect in anything at all. And so seeing
that's okay.
The distance between perfection and where they actually are is opportunity to love them and see them and get to know them, and then valuing the growth and speaking into the growth that you see in them will let any activity they step into be an opportunity to connect with them rather than degrade them or anything else.
And always giving the choice. I think that was significant. Like, I remember having a moment where Dad was like, I was good at basketball, playing a lot, playing through the summers, like on select teams. And Dad was like, do you want to go do this in college, or do you just want to like play for a few more years? And I'm like, because he was like, because I'll do whatever you want, like I'll choose whichever way. Yep. And I think Katie, you kind of had a similar deal of like, do you want to keep doing this or do you want to quit? Because we're either going to go for it, like Dad was saying, or we're going to not. And I remember having someone like, I don't really want to play in college. I just am fine with being good through high school, or for the next few years. And so giving them the choice too at a certain point in time in their life where it's like, okay, you need to choose. Do you want to commit to this? Because we're going to commit, and I'm going to work with you to do it. That was like a cool thing for me, at least.
I think what Dad did was really healthy. Is he found what we wanted to push to. He didn't push us he had to help where he'd like push us whenever we had our goal, but he didn't push us past the goal, which really helped our relationship with Dad. Was because he didn't really that's what I feel like I see a lot of is people pushing him past what they want to do, which it sometimes is healthy, but then it just really affects their relationship, and they hate their dad because they're always nagging on them, always getting on to him, always getting them in trouble.
Like because the dad's trying to relive his glory days
through the kid, and he doesn't let them do anything. So I think Dad really helped that with just helping us get to where we wanted to get to our goals and learning what we wanted to do. And if we didn't have any drive to do it, he didn't just make us do it.
Yeah. I think other activities, which I'm pretty sure all the girls have talked about, but we played dollhouse for hours and hours on end. We played babies for hours and hours on end. I mean, there were Christmases where all we got was dollhouse, or all we got was Barbies, or all we got was babies. So just having something for your kids to be make-believe. The boys played Rescue Heroes, Legos. I mean, I think sometimes we can get caught up in things are too much, which currently working through that right now after Christmas with a toddler. But it is good to have, resources and tools for them to expand their imagination with.
Well, and I was just going to, before you go to another comment, I think it's a great thing to tell parents that Suzanne had a brilliant idea when the kids were young, and that we had themes for our toys. Since we're talking about, we're just coming off of Christmas, so we wouldn't buy every toy that came out. We would buy a certain dollhouse and then really invest in, and add to it over the years. And it created, like what Macy was talking about, intentional play, where that's what they had to play with was the dollhouse or the Barbies or whatever. And they did a brilliant job of playing with that.
Yeah, and another cool activity is skiing. And so our school had a ski trip that we went on every year, and somehow, some way, y'all all got on the ski trip. Like every Manning went.
I think me and David are the only ones in the entire Manning family that have never been.
Like on that
middle school ski
on
trip.
our school ski trip, we'd have one that's actually a middle schooler, and then like 2 lower schoolers, people that are married. Like somehow, some way, everybody got on it. And
So true. I never thought about that.
Which we kind of did that our whole lives. It's like, okay, Michael's going to college in Arkansas. Great. Larry and I are moving there too. Or Madeline's going to A&M. Great. Here we go too. Like we kind of just sort of like tag along Joe anywhere we could.
Right. It shows that anywhere we go, we want to be a family, and we choose to be a family. And it was annoying. Like it was
The truth comes out. I beat you down the slopes.
Like it wasn't perfect, but it makes those trips that I was alone more valuable, but it also made those trips, now that I'm looking back on it, so special.
Yeah.
Because I got to be with my family, but I also got to be with my friends. And so push and challenge to be with your family any means possible, even if it's weird or uncomfortable, or even if it's awkward or different or set apart. Choose to say, I want the value of the family, like above really my reputation at sometimes, because I want my family.
That's funny that you said you thought it was weird, because there was another trip where I'm not really even sure how it all came together, but the school that just Michael was going to Thailand on a mission trip, and somehow Damien and I roped ourselves into being leaders. Neither one of us worked at the school, never attended the school ever, and then we roped Macy into going so she could be the college leader, and then Michael wasn't even going. Like, he never was on the trip. It was just going to be me, Damien, and Macy. And then we were at, like, 2 weeks before the trip, we were at an informational meeting, and Michael walks in, and me and Macy just start bawling. We're like, you get to go with us. We're so excited. And everyone in the room is just staring at us. So maybe weird, but also, cool.
Yeah, and same thing whenever Macy and I and Larry spent the summer in Southeast Asia, and then Michael or Maddox and Dad just show up in Southeast Asia with us.
And Kinsey,
yeah. And everyone's like,
2 weeks.
why are they here? Why are your dad and brother here? We're like, well, I don't know.
there's no better time to go to Asia than this random summer.
Yeah, but again, it comes down to intentionality. We made a purpose as a family that we were going to be together, and it didn't mean that Maddox didn't go on a trip by himself sometimes, or that Michael every once in a while, but that it's about that, and sometimes it takes being creative to do that.
Yeah.
So
I was going to add super quick. I was thinking about it as everyone was talking. These are all like big kind of standalone themes or things that we did, but something that came to mind was Mom did creative memories, so like scrapbooking all throughout our childhood. I remember there was a season, like she would like get away, like that was her peaceful time to get memory books together. And then there was a time where all the girls started making memory books, and so we would all go together to some place, like some craft store, and we could stay up there super late, and we all worked on it together. And I just remember that being such a fun experience of
how old were you?
Little, not
5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
It's modern day quilting.
Or Shutterfly.
Modern day.
Shutterfly.
Yeah.
But it just was such an interesting, I think like that was brought back to mind for me, because parents be encouraged that you don't have to find these hobbies or things to do with your kids to be intentional, just invite them in. So if you really enjoy cooking, invite them to make dinner with you. If you really enjoy doing yard work, invite your kids and paint it as like a way to hang out and not a way to like make them do chores. Help them make that distinction, because when you include your kids in your life, it makes them feel included. It helps them see, like we were talking about exercising and all these health, like all the things y'all modeled. It made it a lot easier for us to see it.
Yeah, and if they don't like it, just do something else. like they might not love everything that you love, but it's okay. We're different people, and so you can find something else. And so look for something else.
And once you find something, stay with it at that point. Yes. Like, one of the things I found is the girls didn't really like skiing. The boys love skiing, snow skiing, that is, and even water sports. And so therefore I'll bend over backwards to make those things happen, because that's something that they love to do.
But like not so much golf or hunting. I mean, so there's activities that you did try somewhere along the way, and there wasn't a big interest in it, and so therefore you went more toward where there was interest.
Right.
Which I think one big disclaimer or thing to be aware of is that we are getting more and more technologically driven in our generation, and so all the things that we just mentioned I would recommend more than technology. So even like venturing in that and being like, oh, there might be a little bit of a detox time to realize that entertainment is not just through a screen, but it comes through interaction and time with each other. And that is something you have to intentionally, actively do now, because the world is screaming the opposite direction. And it's just really important to do things that are physical during this time of so many screens.
Okay, let's take a break now, parents.
Let's wrap that one up.
You know what? Another place you get to hear from our kids is in our book.
Yeah.
So
They helped us write it. They're the ones that actually have all the wisdom. They're the ones that make our family crazy cool.
They're the ones that taught us how to parent.
Most definitely. If it hadn't been for them, we wouldn't even be parents.
So if you haven't picked up our book, Crazy Cool Family, you can go to Amazon. You can get it there.
If you have Prime, it's free shipping.
Yeah, or you can also get a electronic copy of our book there as well, or you can order it through our website, crazycoolfamily.com. We'll actually send you an autographed copy if you order it through our website.
It'll take a while to get to you. We're not Amazon.
Exactly. But if you have it, order
Yes, and if you live out of the country, then you should order through Amazon, because it's
Absolutely.
impossible for us to get it to you.
Costs like $1,000.
More than the book.
So hopefully you enjoyed this podcast,
Yes.
and there's more to come. And hopefully you would enjoy our book. See you next time.